15 haunted celebrity mansions Hollywood never wanted you to see. Behind the glamorous facades of Hollywood's most luxurious homes, something darker lingers. Not just memories, but presences, unseen energies that refuse to leave, trapped in the spaces where tragedy struck or where fame wasn't enough to bring peace. These aren't just stories told around campfires. These are documented accounts from owners, staff, and visitors who entered these celebrity mansions expecting luxury, but instead encountered the unexplainable cold spots where no draft exists, voices whispering in empty rooms, and figures that vanish when approached. What makes these Hollywood hauntings particularly chilling isn't just the paranormal activity itself, but how it connects to the very real tragedies, murders, and mysteries that played out within these walls. The most disturbing incidents have occurred in homes where violent deaths left their mark, not just in Hollywood legend, but apparently in the very fabric of the buildings themselves, from the bloody side of the Manson family's most notorious killings to the glamorous estate where Hollywood royalty still refuses to leave. These mansions hold secrets that real estate agents desperately try to hide, and that new owners discover only after it's too late. Some celebrities have fled these homes within months of purchasing them. Others have called in exorcists, paranormal investigators, and spiritual healers, often to no avail. The entities that haunt Hollywood's darkest addresses seem determined to ensure their stories aren't forgotten, no matter how many renovations or how much sage is burned to cleanse these spaces. Tonight, we're taking you inside the 15 most haunted celebrity mansions that Hollywood has tried desperately to keep hidden from public view. These aren't just houses, they're portals to tragedies that refuse to end, starring ghosts who once saw their names in lights. Let's begin with perhaps the most infamous address in Hollywood history, a place where the walls themselves seem to remember one of the entertainment industry's darkest nights. I'm Dennis Hurst, and I was the last person to leave 1050 Drive. 1. The Beverly Hills Murder Mansion, Point 1050, perched high in the Benedict Canyon area of Beverly Hills. The house at 1050 should have been nothing more than another luxury home with breathtaking views of Los Angeles. Instead, it became the site of a slaughter so brutal that its address became synonymous with horror. The place where pregnant actress Sharon Tate and 4 others were murdered by members of the Manson family on August 9th, 1969. The Spanish-style mansion built in 1942 had a glamorous history before the killings. It was once home to celebrities including Candace Bergen and music producer Terry Melcher, whose previous residence there may have been why Charles Manson targeted the address. But after the murders, the property took on a much darker energy. For years afterward, security guards and caretakers reported hearing inexplicable sounds, muffled screams, whispered pleas for help, and sobbing that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Visitors consistently described an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering, with many refusing to stay after nightfall. People say the house never forgot the blood, revealed a security guard who worked at the property in the 1970s. I've watched tough guys, big men who weren't afraid of anything, refuse to enter certain rooms. They couldn't explain why, just that something felt wrong. The most commonly reported phenomenon was the appearance of a pregnant woman in a nightgown believed to be Tate herself, standing at the windows or at the spot where her body was discovered. One caretaker claimed to have seen her repeatedly over a 3-month period, always with the same expression of confusion and terror on her face. The mansion stood until 1994 when owner Alvin Winter demolished it and built a new home with a different address, 1066 Cello Drive, in an attempt to erase the property's grim associations. But changing the physical structure didn't seem to cleanse the land. New residents still reported cold spots, unexplained noises, and a persistent feeling of being watched. They cleaned the floors, but the air still screams, said a former housekeeper who worked at the new mansion. You can feel it when you enter certain areas, like walking through invisible cobwebs that stick to your skin. Something wants you to know what happened there. The property has changed hands multiple times since the rebuilding, with some owners staying just months before selling. Real estate agents now typically avoid mentioning the location's history, but the paranormal activity has made maintaining that silence increasingly difficult. Members Charlie wasn't happy with the way that went down the night before. Roughly night 2, the La Bianca House, 3301 Waverly Drive. Just one night after the Tate Moor, the Manson family struck again at 3301 Waverly Drive in Luzlas, killing Gross Loyanka and his wife Rosemary in an equally brutal attack. Unlike the Cielo Drive property, this house still stands today, its unassuming exterior giving little hint of the horrors it witnessed. The La Bianca house has changed owners numerous times since the murders, but many have reported similar disturbing experiences. Cold spots moved through the home, particularly in the living room where Lena was killed and the bedroom where Rosemary met her end. Residents describe the sensation as walking through invisible ice water that appears even on the hottest summer days. More disturbingly, multiple owners have reported seeing shadow figures standing at the foot of their beds or in doorways, dark silhouettes that disappear when directly approached, but reappear in peripheral vision. These manifestations are often accompanied by whispered conversations that stop abruptly when someone enters a room. "It feels like the walls are watching you," explained a former owner, who lasted just 7 months before selling at a loss. "We'd hear footsteps upstairs when nobody was there. Our dog refused to enter certain rooms. And sometimes in the middle of the night, we'd wake up to the sound of someone writing on the walls, just like the killers did with their victims' blood." Perhaps most disturbing are reports of phantom smells that periodically fill the house. The metallic scent of blood followed by a sickly sweet aroma that paranormal investigators have described as the smell of death. These odors appear suddenly, often focused in specific areas before dissipating just as quickly. The house's haunted reputation has made it difficult to sell despite its prime location. Real estate listings carefully avoid mentioning its history, but prospective buyers often research the address and back out when they discover its dark past. Those who do purchase often do so at significantly below market value, seeing it as an investment opportunity, only to find themselves listing it again within a year or two. Some houses absorb tragedy, noted a paranormal researcher who has studied the property. The La Bianca house doesn't just remember what happened there. It seems to replay it over and over as though the energy of that night is caught in a loop that never resolves. Who opened United Artist Studio, along with Charlie Chaplin, lived at Fair here. Third, the Fair Estate, Beverly Hills. Once considered the crown jewel of Hollywood real estate, Fair was a 56-acre estate shared by silent film stars Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks, Hollywood's original royal couple. Built in 1919, the mansion became the center of Hollywood's social life, hosting everyone from Albert Einstein and Amelia Earhart to Scott Fitzgerald and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. After Pickford's death in 1979, the mansion changed hands several times before being purchased by businessman Mitchell Rickloss and his wife, actress Pia Zadora, in 1988. What happened next remains controversial. Zadora had the historic mansion largely demolished, claiming it was infested with termites. Many preservationists believe the real reason was far more disturbing. The house was haunted. Genuinely, frighteningly haunted. Zadora later revealed, "We tried to live with it. We'd hear footsteps when no one was there. Doors would slam by themselves. The staff would quit because of things they'd seen." According to Zadora and household staff, the primary entity was a woman in a flowing white dress believed to be Mary Pickford herself, who would appear on the main staircase or in the bedroom that had once been hers. The apparition seemed particularly active when changes were being made to the house, almost as though protesting alterations to her beloved home. Other reported phenomena included phantom sounds of 1920s music and laughter as though ghostly parties were still taking place. Staff members described hearing the clinking of glasses and multiple conversations, only to find rooms completely empty when they investigated. "She didn't want to be forgotten, and she isn't," said a groundskeeper who worked at Pickfair during Zadora's ownership. Miss Pickford built that house at the height of her fame. It was everything to her. I don't think she ever intended to leave it even after death. The decision to demolish Fair sparked outrage in Hollywood preservation circles, but Zadora maintained that the haunting had made the house unlivable. Curiously, even after the original structure was largely replaced, paranormal activity reportedly continued on the property, suggesting that whatever presence remained was attached to the land itself rather than just the building. The mansion that stands today bears little resemblance to the original PF Fair, but visitors still report unexplained cold spots, The faint smell of Mary Pickford's signature rose perfume, and occasional glimpses of a woman in white appearing and disappearing in mirrored surfaces point for the Harry Houdini estate, 2400 Laurel Canyon Boulevard. The legendary magician and escape artist Harry Houdini purchased this Laurel Canyon estate in 1919, transforming it into a mysterious wonderland, complete with secret passages, hidden rooms, and a deep water tank where he practiced his underwater escapes. Though Houdini didn't die here, he passed away in Detroit in 1926. His spirit seems to have returned to the place he loved most. After Houdini's death, his grief-stricken widow, Bess, held annual seances at the estate every Halloween for 10 years, attempting to contact her husband beyond the grave. Though she never received the prearranged coded message they had agreed would prove his spirit's authenticity, many believe these repeated attempts to pierce the veil between worlds may have created a permanent paranormal portal on the property. Subsequent owners have reported bizarre occurrences that seem connected to Houdini's obsession with illusion and escape. Locked doors inexplicably open. Objects disappear from one room only to reappear in another. Water faucets turn on by themselves. Particularly significant given Houdini's death from peritonitis after a ruptured appendix. He escaped every lock except this one, remarked a paranormal investigator who conducted research at the property. The phenomena we documented suggests an intelligence that wants to demonstrate mastery over physical objects. Exactly what Houdini dedicated his life to proving he could do. The most compelling evidence came during a seance conducted by a renowned medium in 2013. During the session, recording equipment captured unexplained voices, including one that seemed to say, "Bess, I'm waiting," a possible reference to Houdini's wife and their failed attempts to communicate after his death. Caretakers report that paranormal activity intensifies around Halloween, the anniversary of Houdini's death, with some claiming to have seen a full-bodied apparition of a man in early 20th century formal where standing near the property's pool. The figure never interacts with observers and vanishes when approached. Despite its haunted reputation, or perhaps because of it, the Houdini estate has become a sought-after location for film shoots, music videos, and private events. Those who rent the space are typically warned about its paranormal history, with many reporting their own unexplainable experiences during their time there. Something lingers in that house, said a location scout who has worked on multiple productions at the estate. Equipment malfunctions for no reason. Batteries drain instantly, and everyone, literally everyone, feels like they're being watched, especially in the areas where Houdini reportedly spent the most time. And new opportunity and new security for the middle class. Oh Lord, my God, have you forsaken this? 5. Nicolas Cage's Laurie Mansion, New Orleans. While most haunted Hollywood mansions are located in California, one of the most notorious is actually in New Orleans' French Quarter. The Laurie Mansion, built in 1832, was the site of horrific atrocities perpetrated by socialite Deline Laurie, who tortured and killed numerous enslaved people in a hidden chamber discovered only after fire in 1834. In 2007, actor Nicolas Cage, known for his interest in the occult and supernatural, purchased this infamous property for $3.45 million. What's remarkable is how quickly Cage, who had previously owned several allegedly haunted properties, fled from this one. He sold the mansion within a few years, reportedly after spending very little time actually living there. Though Cage has never publicly commented on why he abandoned the property so quickly, local tour guides and neighbors report that the paranormal activity in the mansion is among the most disturbing in America. Visitors and workers describe hearing chains rattling the walls, blood-curdling screams emerging from empty rooms, and seeing full-bodied apparitions of injured people appearing and disappearing. Even Cage couldn't handle the chaos inside, claimed a local paranormal tour guide. The energy in that house isn't just residual haunting. It's active and seemingly intelligent. Workers reported tools disappearing, personal items moving overnight, and feeling invisible hands touching them while they worked on renovations. The mansion's dark history makes its haunting particularly disturbing. After the 1834 fire, responders discovered a hidden chamber where Laurie had imprisoned enslaved people, subjecting them to medical experiments and torture. The victims' spirits are believed to remain trapped in the mansion, with paranormal investigators recording EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, that include pleas for help and screams. Perhaps most disturbing are reports of phantom smells, the scent of burning flesh and decay that suddenly fills rooms before disappearing. Multiple owners have reported being awoken by the sensation of not being able to breathe, as though experiencing the suffocation of fire victims. While Cage's ownership was brief, it added another layer to the mansion's legend. Staff working on renovations during his ownership reported seeing a man in period clothing watching them from empty rooms, objects moving by themselves, and hearing whispered conversations in French, the language spoken by Lori and her victims. Today, the Lori mansion remains a private residence, though it attracts ghost hunters and tourists who photograph its exterior and report feeling overwhelming dread and nausea, even when simply standing outside on the sidewalk. Paul and the Cat Burger.